All right, the government has taken measures to end the current fuel shortage in the country by facilitating fuel depots and refilling stations to work round the clock for the next 3 days. The move is expected to normalize fuel supply by Saturday. Blaming the crisis on hoarding by oil marketers, Energy CS Monica Juma directed oil industry players who are not ready to conform to the industry regulatory requirements to exit the Kenyan market. Faisal Ahmed has more on this story.
After weeks of meeting with oil companies and traders to broker a deal to unlock the fuel supply in the local market, the government has now resolved to play hardball to resolve the standoff.
The subsidy was faster.
Convinced that the country has surplus stocks and that the oil marketing companies have deliberately been sabotaging the country's economy, the government has declared that it will not tolerate the companies that continue creating artificial shortage. Fuel marketers told to shape up and release the fuel or ship out of the local market.
We cannot hold the nation to ransom. It almost feels, in my previous life, I dealt with piracy. Piracy feels like this. When somebody holds you in the high seas, it almost feels like this.
Besides deporting Ruby's managing director Jean-Christian Bagueron, a probe has been launched to investigate other industry players. Subsequently, company executives have been summoned to the Directorate of Criminal Investigation headquarters to record statements. Further, 10 oil marketing companies have been asked to explain in writing why the Ministry of Energy should not take action against them.
In fact, in my mind, this situation can only be equated to deliberate effort to sabotage this economy, which constitutes a capital crime in our statute books.
In a bid to normalize the fuel supply, the moratorium on transport of fuel from depots by oil tankers has been lifted. This now allows oil depots, tankers and retail stations to work 24 hours for the next 72 hours. Adequate police escort will be given to tankers and fuel stations.
In this regard, we are going to allow the movement of tankers on a privileged basis starting later today. And we hope that we can do this in the next 72 hours to stabilize the supply across the country.
Further, the ministry says that it will empower the National Oil Corporation to ensure that they have sufficient stocks to avert such a crisis in the country.
We have commenced a process of ensuring that the National Oil Corporation of Kenya, NOC, assumes its rightful responsibility of taking up the right quota for strategic reserve to secure this country from hostage-taking.
The statistic released by the ministry shows that the country has 167.1 million litres of super petrol that will cover 18 days, 258.4 million litres of diesel, which could cover 20 days, and 73.1 million litres of kerosene. This has been the situation on the roads for the last 20 days. However, the government anticipates that given the measures they've put in place, it's going to self-correct within the next 72 hours. Faisal Ahmed, Citizen TV, Nairobi.